a show on dirt.
He's an 11-time Knoxville Nationals champion. Make some noise for Donny Schatz!
Donny Schatz, take 15. I can tell you the first time that I had an opportunity to race, when I first started racing, to be able to race in front of my hometown fans. When you roll in the gate at your very first World of Outlaw race in front of your hometown crowd, I'm telling you, it's nerve-wracking. You're nervous. It's a level of self-importance that you want to be up on. You don't want to disappoint. As a driver, you're there to compete, but yet you're also there to, you feel like giving back to your fans and showing them your appreciation is doing your best and having your best and brightest moments right then and there. The people that you get to see, obviously when we race in our hometown, we see those people in the pits and we see them come down and talk, and obviously you're going to have more of that at your home tracks than you are anywhere else. So it just shows the importance to for our own self-satisfaction and gratitude than anything. It's incredible. And to this day, when I walk in the gate at River Cities, when I walk in the gate at Red River Valley Speedway, when I walk in the gate at Nodex Speedway in Minot, all the places I grew up, I had the great fortune of racing with the World of Outlaws with, I still get that lump in my throat that it tells me, man, as a child, I set out to do this. This was my dream, and I not only got to do it at a professional level, but that professional level is coming to my house, in my town, and it's allowing me the opportunity to get back on the racetrack and let the people that supported me from day one have the opportunity to share that moment with us. And I still have friends to this day that had never been to the races and still come, and every time they do, they all come down and they all say, man, that was awesome, that's incredible, why haven't I been to these races before? And it's ever growing. But it's really satisfying as a driver to be able to go and race in front of those hometown crowd and escalate yourself, bring yourself to that next level. Doesn't matter what the reason, but when you roll into your own home tracks, it's for them.
The Fargo resident celebrating his hometown. Donny Schatz winning at the Red River Valley Speedway.
Oh, the phrase elbows up. And as a kid, it's something that my dad used to tell me, time to elbows up. And literally that's what you did. You got the elbows out. There's a lot of racing that elbows up is the best way to go about it. And there's a lot of races that it's not. There's a lot of times that finesse, maintaining your tires, just depends what track conditions are. But all those different variables are what makes the World of Outlaws what it is. Elbows up is something that, it gets your attention a lot more. You got to be on your toes. There's a chance you could probably end up in a crash with someone else. You could tear something up. You're either closer to the wall or the cushion's a foot tall and it can jerk you and snap you and roll you over or tear the front end out. Those sort of scenarios are, we still have them and we still get elbows up. The thing that I've learned in my 26 plus years in this sport is you can't run every lap elbows up. You can't run every race elbows up. You can, but you're not going to be able to race for a championship, and you're not going to be able to be there at the end of big races. So there's a fine line between what elbows up means and what finesse and being on your game mentally and physically is. Elbows up's fun, but like I said, it's hard to be elbows up every lap, every race, everywhere you go. Unwritten rules in sprint car racing, I don't really know that there is any. I'm probably guilty of criticizing a lot of young guys for a lot of things, and I feel like it's my right to do that. And but we do live in times that change. I'm reminded of that every day. Even though those times change, I still enjoy my position in the sport, and I enjoy racing with the younger guys, because that's what this series has consisted of. Over the years is ever-changing guard, the best of the best. And it continues to propel everybody to new levels and keep that competition there. And that's why it's called the World of Outlaws. That's why it travels coast to coast, and that's why people come to see it. I don't know that you can say there are any unwritten rules. I think that in this sport, the name should say it all. Outlaws it's what you think of when you think of that is really no holds barred, no rules. Even though there are rules, maybe back in the day when I started, there was probably some unwritten rules. When it come to racing with guys, you learned how to earn their respect. You didn't walk up and demand anything. You didn't walk up and tell them who you were and say, hey, I'm going to come and kick your ass. That didn't happen, in the Steve Kinser era. Today, it's something that's it's pretty prevalent. There's a lot of young kids that have the backing to do this, and they have the talent, they have the ability, they have what it takes. It's just being able to put it all together on a nightly basis and be consistent doing that, and be able to take the hits along the way. I think that's something that people overlook a lot. Everybody's going to gas it and gas it and gas it, but what happens when you have that first big one? That first big one could change the way you look at it. We've all had it. We're all going to do it, and we're all going to continue to do it, but it might change your perspective on it, and it might change the way your racing style is. I think that when you dig into the respect issue, I just look back from what I learned. I know that if I went and drove in the side of Steve Kinser, or if I went and drove across his nose, I knew what was going to happen. Guys like that are so good, they can get you upside down and not even look like they hit you or touch you. And it's not that you do it intentionally, but that's just the nature of the beast. I think as we grow older in the sport, you look at things from different aspects. When you're young and you're full of energy and you're full of vibrance, you don't think about a safety factor, not from your own standpoint or anyone else's. And after you see people lose their life and you see people get hurt, you see the things that happen, I think that's something that you probably put a little more emphasis on, because we all have families, we all have children, we all want to come home, but we all still want to do what we love to do. And I think that's a very proportionate thing that everyone has to figure out in due time. And I think it's through respect. I think you learn how to race people the way you want to be raced. I don't think that there's a lot of people out there that just do things beyond all expectations very often, because it always comes back to bite them, or in some way, shape, or form. And whatever happens, we all have to live with it. So earning it, it's pretty easy to do. There's a lot of great young kids out there that have come to me and asked me questions. They've asked me for help, but that don't really have anything to do with respect. They might respect me enough to ask for some help, and I give them honest answers as to what you can do. And I think some people might look at it and say, is he really joking me, or is he trying to take advantage of me? I think when you take someone with experience, you have a lot to gain and learn from that. I've seen a lot of things change over the years as the guys in front of me did the same. And when we all get together from time to time at some big races, we all sit back and tell stories about some of the things that happen. And it seems like some of the funner stories are probably further away from us than they are in front of us. So earning it, man, each person its own. You can't tell someone how to earn it. You can't tell someone how to give it. All I can do is control the respect that I have, and I have a lot of people I have a lot of respect for. There's very few that I don't. So that's under my control. The rest of it's not. Good from great, great from legendary. Good question. I'm not really sure that I have a straightforward answer to that. As a young man that aspires to drive sprint cars, and when you do that, the Premier Racing Series has always been the world of outlaws. You have to look up to the greats that were there when you came along, the greats that you idolized as a kid. And in my era, that was Steve Kinser, Sammy Swindell, Doug Wolfgang, Dave Blaney. A lot of guys who are still around today and maybe not so much racing, but they're still with us. They still have a part of the sport in one way, shape, or form. And It's something they obviously still love. And I guess you have to look at the passion that they put in, the times that were there. Things weren't as easy 25 years ago when it come to traveling and all these things. They were probably a little bit less expensive, but they were, more races on the schedule and more chasing up and down the road and all these things. You really take your family life, raising your kids, high school graduations, weddings, all these things take a back seat to the commitment that this sport takes from you, from all those guys. So when I look at the guys that paved the way for us to have this great series today, this great platform for us to race across the country, this great fan base, they paved the way. And to me, that's legendary. When you're living in current times, it's hard to say what the difference between good, great, and legendary is, other than looking backwards at what's already happened. You can't really look at what's going forward and say something's good, say something's great, say something's legendary. So from my aspect, that's how you do it, as you look back and you look at the achievements they had, the way they did it, the things they sacrificed, and also the platform that those guys built. And to me, the only thing I can classify as is legendary. What inspires me to be great is the fact that when I started racing sprint cars, this was a family thing. My father was a big part of this. My mother was a big part of this. And without their involvement in this sport, their support, everything that they've done, the people we've made, the friendships we've made, they were as much a part of it as me. I'm the one that got to have all the fun, but yet they were still a part of it. They ate, slept, and drank it just like I did. And that makes it, to me, what's been most special. And through that process, we've all enjoyed it together. We've all enjoyed the wins. We've all sorrowed over some big losses, and we've all done that together. That's the level of competition. This is the competition with this series and the guys you race with. It never gets stale. It never goes backwards. It always continually grows and changes. Anything you do, you want to be at the pinnacle. I want to be at the pinnacle. And so you push yourself, the competition, like I said, but also the schedule. The schedule of 85 races does not allow you to go at it any other way. You attack. There's no reset button. You're continuously digging and going after things. That's what the challenge is not only to just do good, but to do great and do it continually, do it consistently. And some people figure that out, some people don't, and it's a tough thing to get a handle on. I've had great success in my career, but you always want more. That's just part of the competition. So being able to compete at this level, that's what keeps me going. Like I said, it's ever changing. It's motivating. Just when you think that you have something figured out and you're going to be a little bit better than someone else comes out with something, or they work harder to find another way, or they figure out a new trick. So the ever-changing part of it, the unpredictability, is what keeps me motivated and keeps me going.
10-time World of Outlaws champion from Fargo, North Dakota, the CarQuest Ford Performance Curve Safe Street Mad Jacks X Series number 15 of Donny Schatz.